Let's roll. The Combat Sports Report has begun. I am Gabe Morency on the SportsGrid Television Network, Roku, and much more. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. Every time we start this show, I nearly say, welcome to MMA Meltdown, because we did MMA Meltdown for so long. So it's hard to, it's like, oh, no, it's the Combat Sports Report. I think MMA Meltdown's a cooler name, personally. We have to speak to the suits about this. But the Combat Sports Report kicks ass. And one of the reasons why it kicks ass is because we got great guests and great fighters. And we got one of my favorite guys. And, you know, I don't want to upset other people in the company, but Kai Stewart is my favorite BKFC fighter. And I was stoked when I saw the news. Massive announcement earlier in the week as the undefeated, undisputed BKFC featherweight champion of the world and currently ranked third in the pound-for-pound rankings. Not on the Liberty Brawl. Not in Knucklemania. How come like one of the top fighters in the company aren't at the top cards? Well, it doesn't get much more top card than Fenway Park, baby, in Boston, August 29th. Kai Stewart in the house. Kai, my man, congratulations on the massive announcement.
Yeah, guys, it's been a long time coming. I've been, you know, I started in this company as just a scared 21-year-old that had no business being in bare knuckle. I had to climb a ladder to get there. I went after Miami Muppet. After Miami Muppet, we had UFC legends. You know, they tried to find Conor's boy with a Conor McGregor tattoo on his calf to beat me. And now we're finally reaping the rewards. I do feel that they are giving me a massive opportunity against this opponent. On paper, he looks good. But really the best part about this fight is that I'm going to run absolute circles around this guy for 5 rounds in America's favorite baseball park, Fenway Park. This is where legends are made. Listen, the White House card paved the way for a lot of great things, and that was amazing. Fenway Park is you know, it's not the White House, but it's up there. It's up there and really freaking cool.
Yeah, no, it's kind of up there. It's like you said, it's one of the most iconic and famous stadiums in the world. Let me ask you, and I'm so happy for you that you get this showcase, but one thing with BKFC, it's busting out. There's cards all over the globe. It's, you know, the success of the company is awesome. But mainstream sports sites, right? Mainstream have been a little bit slow. They're still scared of this stuff. Have you seen your name everywhere, bro? Sports Illustrated, ESPN, like USA Today, like, this went like, dude, MLB.com, Kai, Major League Baseball's website, MLB. Not like, oh, we have nothing to do with this. They said BKFC, MLB.com, Kai Stewart, Fenway Park. Bro, like your name has been everywhere. Has your phone been blowing up this week?
It really has. My phone blew up, and you know, for a lot more than one reasons. You know, there's been some crazy stuff be going down, but most importantly, people are like, Kai, you're getting your shot. You're getting what you've worked your ass off for.
When you say shit going down, is everything all right? Everything all right behind the scenes?
Yeah.
You say some stuff going down, yeah?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is actually great for a show like this. The video keeps getting taken down. But we got, there was a road rage incident. Somebody flipped me off. I flipped him off back. He slammed on his brakes, came up to my window, reached into my car. I popped him, got him a little bloody. And the cops want to charge me and my woman for disorderly conduct whenever he came into my vehicle. So Great Falls Police Department, count your freaking days, because we have it all on video. And flipping somebody off is protected by free speech. And we did it second. We didn't start it, but I damn sure finished it. And I wish Great Falls Police Department would get their head out of their ass. Outside of that, back the blue. I definitely am all backing law enforcement. Just this situation is very, very, very weird to me. Outside of
that sucks. All
craziest week of my life. Craziest week of my life.
I guess it has to be, right? So your highs, lows, you're like, welcome to the jungle, Kai, right? I mean, you're in the middle of the fire. Dude, Uriah Faber told me a story years ago. He literally had 2 broken arms, all right? He said he was driving with 2 broken arms, and he tried to open a Gatorade bottle, Kai, with his chin. So he said, he's trying to open a gate with his shoulder, and he's driving. He said he bumped into someone. He goes, it was my fault. A little fender bender. I bumped into someone. Guy got out raging, wanted to fight and stuff. And Uriah, it was in Sacramento, Uriah finally got out and said, dude, just chill out. All traffic started to stop, and people were like, hey, Uriah, kick his ass, champ. And he was like, oh, you're one of those fighters, aren't you? And he got in his car and drove off. This son of a bitch is lucky he didn't get real with you, Kai. Like, put it that way.
No, like, listen, I've actually have a good track record and plenty of character witnesses. Something I love to brag about being the best bare knuckle fighter on planet Earth is I've never been in a street fight outside of the ring or cage. So it's special to me. It's like really special to me. And then this happened, and everybody was like, that guy, like, this is one of those things, guys. People are out in the bars. They don't give, like, they get drunk. They're going to try to go out and fight people. This is just one of those things that you just have absolutely no idea who you're talking to. And we may be calm, cool, collect, very restrained. I respect because fighting does that for you. Had he got real with me, it would have been very bad. You know what I mean? It's like, it wouldn't have been my fault. I was protecting myself and my family. So very, very, it's cool. It was fun to be. There was fun things about it, but it was also scary. Like in Montana, you don't know if the guy's doing drugs. You don't know if he's got a gun and got a knife. Whatever.
Everybody's got a shotgun in the back of the truck, right, in Montana.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Hang it in the window.
Yeah, exactly. I've been scared the hell out of me the first time I went to Wyoming. I told my buddy in a bar, actually, I said, dude, we're not on the East Coast here. Don't run your mouth, man. These people don't F around here, bro.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
For real.
But so Fenway Park, Gigliotti, super cool, August 29th. Like I said, it's the fight of your life. I mean, every fight is the biggest fight of a fighter's life. But Fenway Park, and I brought this up off the top, Kyle, that, you weren't on some of these cards, right? I asked you before, I'm like, what about Knucklemania? What about the Liberty Brawl coming up right now? Did you know it was Fenway Park? Did they tell you, listen, we're going to fight at Fenway Park, or they call you and say, listen, we got a title defense coming up for you. We got a fight, and it's at a pretty cool spot. We'll let you know after. Did you know? How did this play out?
So I knew for about a week, but like I was actually full porting a couple fishing trips. I started because we're running YouTube live streams right now in rural Montana, but they told me, hey, you're not going to fight till the end of the year. We're going to try to get you on RAF. And then literally less than 24 hours later, I get a call. Hey, there's been a development. You're fighting main event at Fenway Park. And I go, okay, let me cancel all my trips. Let me cancel everything. You got it. Of course, I'm not going to say no to that.
And Fenway Park? Did you say like, what do you mean, like a bar? Or is it like, you mean the baseball stadium, Fenway Park? Like, you know what I mean?
All I said was, hey, you could send anyone you want, just don't send anyone you want back. This is a stage fit for a king, and we're not gonna lose to nobody named Harry Gigliotti. Come on now. We're not gonna lose to a guy like that.
Former professional boxer, boxing background, so you kind of know if you watched any of his tape. I mean, he's got, what have you seen? We got 1 minute, so you have a message for him and all your fans and everybody out there tuning in to the Combat Sports Report.
Hey, listen, guys, this is a world title fight in the most exciting sport on planet Earth. And yes, Harry is a tough guy. We're all tough guys, but there's also levels to this sport. And I am King Kai. Kings never die. Harry, like, I genuinely believe I'm going to get my first finish of my title run. I know I said it last time. Nico ended up being a crazy athlete. But honestly, it's my time. Fenway Park is the biggest stage they could have gotten for me, and big time players make big time plays, and I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, big time players make big time plays in big time games, and you're about to do that on Saturday night, August 29th. The iconic and legendary Fenway Park, baby. King Kai Stewart. We got to talk before the fight again, Kai. Always a pleasure, my man.
Cheers.
Hey, stay out of trouble, Kai. Stay out of trouble.
Never.
He gives them a chance, but they've got to keep putting people around him. I think he's a very good quarterback. I don't know that he's the one that elevates you all by himself. I think he still needs the help. Excellent player, perfect guy to lead your organization, perfect place for it. And by the way, I'd start him from day one. I wouldn't waste any time on it. But got to put pieces around him, and John Spytek has already started doing that.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
This is the third time he's been medically checked. Even the refs coming over. He's like, dude, like come on. Like after every sort of play in front of the net, the kind of goal he's done.
Yeah.
He's
stop jumping.
He's on the turf, like you said, like he's like driving off the top rope. Look at him here again. I give him credit. He's freaking fearless.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Are you ready for el verano más futbolero de tu vida? Latin Nation Football Club turns into Copa Nation, our live stream experience every day de lunes a viernes, 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Pacific as well. Checking in after the games. In that slot between games, we got you, my friend. We're going to have celebrities, legends of the game, content creators, and a bunch of our friends that are going to keep you entertained and informed, letting you know what's happening all across the 3 countries that are going to be experiencing this crazy football tournament. Don't miss it. Copa Nation right here on Latin Nation every day. Check it out.
Thanks to the man, King Kai Stewart, for joining us on the program. Always love catching up with the King. He's been on, I think, more than any other fighter, too. And, we've just sort of been along for the ride with him. And he likes doing the show. We get along with him behind the scenes as well. He was telling us, it's one of his favorite shows. And he always loves coming on the grid with me and stuff. And we're going to have him on before the big fight. But Fenway Park, that's just unbelievable. Like, even I don't even think he really realizes. I think he's more concerned about his issues behind the scenes than he is. Like, he's like, yeah, Fenway, but I got stuff going on. He looks at his phone, and they didn't want to charge me. And, so we'll have to stay on top of that. But what we like to do here is we like to give you picks, but also stay on top of what's going on in the mixed martial arts world. And the UFC, there's been a lot of talk about the UFC rankings. There's always been talk about the rankings of the UFC, and let's be real. The rankings don't really mean anything in the UFC. The UFC is going to it's a business. It's entertainment. They're going to give people title shots that they want to give people title shots to. I understand it. Part of me thinks, well, whatever. If you win, you should get a title shot. But that's not the way that it really works. But listen, we all know that Dana White hates the media. Unless you kiss his ass and you like him, then he likes you. Right, but if you have anything to say, then you're a loser in the media. But if you have something nice to say, then hey, it's nice. But so Dana White despises the MMA media. He really does just look down on the MMA media, and he's always hated he doesn't like the media types that care about the sport, that actually vote what the rankings should be, and then call out the company for not giving the proper people chance. You know what I mean? Fights. And we also know the UFC is about money and business. And so long story short, they've been talking about this for a year or two, about changing the rankings and going to AI. So they've done it. It's official. The new meta rankings done by the Facebook AI meta stuff, whatever, now run the UFC rankings. According to the UFC, a fighter's rating will be generated on a priority of activity and performance. A fighter rating will decay if they do not compete in an 18-month window, while the rating value of past wins will dwindle and expire over time. Raquel Pennington went from number 2 and fell all the way to number 15. All right? So, listen, there's always going to be debates about this, and I don't like machines telling us, who's better when we watch with our own eyes. All right? Maybe that's just me. But there's a couple of little caveats in here that are interesting. Elements that are prioritized in the ratings are basically if you get a finish, you get higher rated. All right, so you get higher rated if you're able to finish a fight. Which, okay, that's more entertaining. It's more entertaining, but if you're a real sport, it's not about entertainment. You know what I mean? You're not going to tell a soccer team, no, you didn't advance to the World Cup final because you don't score enough goals and people don't want to watch you on TV. Yeah, but we never lost. Yeah, but you're not entertaining enough. Right? Then if that's the world we're in, then it's not a sport. It's the WWE, like it's selective. And, I never thought it was. I've always known that this is the way that it works. Right? I've always known it's the way that it works. But to me, I don't know, like the whole, the entertainment thing. They're not like fighting for they're not like, you know what I mean? It almost has that like gladiator thing about like entertain us and it better be entertaining or otherwise like we don't acknowledge it. So if you fight your ass off, but if Dane doesn't think it was entertaining, then too bad. The win doesn't count. That's the world that we're in now, right? They're trying to phase out these wrestlers and stuff like that. They want just sort of fireworks. Then, I don't know, why don't you just become BKFC then, right? So, it's sort of, like I said, we could debate this. I want to get our boy James Young on and get his take on this. According to UFC, so this is something that is interesting to me, though. According to the UFC, media rankings have historically produced a 53.4% winning result when both fighters are in the top 15. So not like, someone's ranked, 100th and whatever, you know what I mean? So when fighters are ranked in the top 15, the fighter that was higher ranked in the media rankings won the fight 53.4% of the time. The UFC has been doing this behind the scenes for a year now, using this rankings, and they just dropped it publicly. They say that their higher ranked fighter in the meta ratings have produced a 63.5% rate win. So they're saying it's more accurate, right? Which I'm not going to fully dispute. Like machines, this AI stuff is pretty sharp, and the same thing like college football in the old days with the BCS. And people, I remember at the time, it was like a massive outrage. Like college football used to get the championship to the AP top 25. Like the Associated Press would vote for who the champion was, and that was the way people accepted it and was fine. They changed it and everyone got mad, and I said, oh my God, we're going to a machine. So we went to a computer. It was basically the BCS computer that basically, said these are the best teams. And everyone was like, it's the end of the world. The computer doesn't know, it doesn't watch the games. This is ridiculous. And you know what? The BCS is actually better than the modern rankings right now. Like the computer actually didn't get it wrong. It actually was right. So I'm not going to dispute. I don't dispute that the meta rankings, that there's a lot of positives about it, and that its accuracy won't be, you know what I mean? That it might have a better winning percentage. But at the same time, there's still a human element to this. They are humans fighting, right? We're not at robot fights yet in the UFC. I mean, down the road, whatever, right? We all know, the future is here. But forget about robot fighting and forget about rankings. I'm tired of all this. I want to watch two dudes get handcuffed to a table inside of an octagon and just beat the living crap out of each other. In my world, that's my dream. That's what I want. Combat Sports Report continues.
He gives them a chance, but they've got to keep putting people around him. I think he's a very good quarterback. I don't know that he's the one that elevates you all by himself. I think he still needs the help. excellent player, perfect guy to lead your organization, perfect place for it. And by the way, I'd start him from day one. I wouldn't waste any time on it. But got to put pieces around him, and John Spytek has already started doing that.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
This is the third time he's been medically checked. Even the refs coming over. He's like, dude, like come on. Like after every sort of play in front of the net, the kind of goal he's done.
Yeah.
He's
stop jumping.
He's on the turf, like you said, like he's like driving off the top rope. Look at him here again. I give him credit. He's freaking fearless.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Are you ready for el verano más futbolero de tu vida? Latination Football Club turns into Copa Nation, our live stream experience every day, de lunes a viernes, 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Pacific as well. Checking in after the games. In that slot between games, we got you, my friend. We're going to have celebrities, legends of the game, content creators, and a bunch of our friends that are going to keep you entertained and informed, letting you know what's happening all across the 3 countries that are going to be experiencing this crazy football tournament. Don't miss it. Copa Nation right here on Latin Nation every day. Check it out.
It's time for the videos of the week. And you know what? Maybe our dreams can come true. Maybe we can see people get tied to a table and fight. Stay tuned for that. This I've seen before. I remember showing this like years ago, in which I think it's like it's a yearly annual thing. And this is in Italy, speaking of the gladiators. And I don't really understand what the hell is going on here, besides the fact that you've got like 500 people in a gladiator pit here. There is a ball. There is a ball, as you see. Basically, it's MMA rugby. MMA rugby. Which, as you see, you just sort of like, it's carnage out there. I like that look. You see they're wearing like old school gladiator, like that old school type stuff. And you know what? Here we think, all right, what do you do? I play lacrosse. I'm a tough guy. I got to be honest with you guys. When we show all these videos, they're always from like the other part of the world and stuff, right? Because like we would never do this. Like, this wouldn't get sanctioned. Like, if you told someone, yeah, listen, I want to rent the Rose Bowl out. I'm going to put 500 people in the middle of the field. We're going to have one ball, and they're just going to beat the crap out of each other. And you do get points, as you see. You got to get the ball, like these guys are just going at it. Huh? Like, it just doesn't stop. But I'm actually, I'm shocked that, the rest of the, put it this way. If not for weapons and bombs and stuff, we'd be in a lot of trouble. Like, the rest of the world is tougher than we are, but we've got the nukes. You know what I'm saying? Let's call it out for what it is. Like, if you took a bunch of American or Canadian kids and made them do this, everybody's going to jail. Everybody's going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's getting sued. Everyone's going to jail. I mean, look, and there was a little kid hockey fight that lasted a minute or two, and all hell broke loose here. Like, people will be like, yeah, we're not sanctioning this. You can't do this. It's just too good. And case in point, I said earlier that, we've shown you guys everything, right? You got the car-jitsu, where two dudes are in a car, and they have the seatbelt on, and they got to fight their way out of the car. That's pretty crazy. We showed you the phone booth fighting, where two guys are in a phone booth, and one guy gets out. This This I like. They just, you know what? This is like very WWE-ish. Basically, let's handcuff two dudes to a table and let's see what happens. Except it turns out these two are actually brothers somehow, which I have a hard time believing because they really do not look like brothers. Supposedly they're brothers in real life. This is just too good. No, you can't run away. I got to be honest, if things weren't going well for me and I was in this thing, I just picked the table up and hit the dude with the table. Like at this point. They gotta nail the table down. Like, you know what I mean? Honestly, like somebody should just like pick the table up and boom, right in the face. That's just too good, man. So we got some good videos this week. All right. This next one is like the Matrix. All right. This is like, Buddy, watch this. He's like in slow motion. And the cool story about this one is Buddy that wins the fight here, it's his first win. He was 0-6. 0-6 on the pro MMA circuit. And this is his first win. Watch this. It's like in slow motion, too. It's like in the air. It's like the Matrix. No, watch. What's coming? It's coming. Oh, there it is. Whoa. That's some Bruce Lee stuff, my man. Like, that's like it doesn't matter. You're 0-6. And my man, you got to retire now. That's it. Walk off. Walk off. You're 0-6. That's your win. I would delete my first 5 fights, 6 fights from the internet, and that's it, my man. That's it. That's your fight. People ask you if you fought, you show them that. That's it. Tom Zaffino next. Combat Sports Report continues. I am Gabe Morency. Let's bring in our main man, Tom Zaffino, to talk some MMA right now. Tom, always a pleasure, and I know you got a chance to you were in the green room while King Kai Stewart was on the program, and he shared the story, the behind-the-scenes story, and I'm glad that I backtracked and asked him. When he goes, yeah, I got stuff going on behind the scenes here. I was like, well, I got to ask him. I am a journalist still. So I said, yeah, so what do you got? And he's like, oh, they want to charge me, and I got into a little incident on the road and stuff, and I got to tell you, Tom, it's, as we get older, I would like to say we get smarter. I'm not that much smarter now than I was when I was younger, to be honest. Like, I am like a little bit, but one thing that I've gotten better at is keeping my mouth shut in sort of certain situations. Because honestly, Tom, in today's day and age, between somebody packing, somebody going to run you over in their car, somebody there's a lot of psychos out there. And also, I guess the best way of putting this is you can't judge somebody by the way they look. You know what I mean? You might see someone and think, look at this geek, whatever, man. I'm mouthing off, you know what I mean? In a bar, whatever, on the street. Who's this little kid? F you. You know what I mean? I'm bigger than you are. Yeah, you might be bigger than you are, but you don't realize this kid's a 9-0 bare knuckle undefeated champion.
Yeah.
The incident the buddy got into was he dodged a bullet that Kai didn't start throwing at him, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. And I learned that a long time ago. I got into jiu-jitsu when I was in my early 20s. And I trained with some guys that, they're like computer nerds. These are guys that make a lot of money, in their careers, but they're just nerdy guys. They're not intimidating at all. And I was a football player. I played all the sports. I was heavy into lifting. I rode dirt bikes my whole life. And then I got on the mats with these guys and I was just like, dude, I'm nobody. And you start to realize that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you start to see these guys, that are like that, like Kai. If I looked at Kai on the street, I wouldn't be intimidated at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But a guy like that, with the skills he has, it's like, dude, I don't want to play those games. And, I learned that. I learned that 20 yeyears ago.
Your and my faces would look like Taporia's, if we got into it with Kai Stewart.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd just be bang, 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 like our face, boom, 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 and then be like, oh, my orbital bone's broken. Stop. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're lucky, it's a jiu-jitsu guy and he just chokes you out.
Yeah.
Embarrasses you.
That's a good point.
But yeah, man.
Hey, I've been around. I've been in bands and stuff and metal bands, so trust me. I've had incidences over the year, Tom, man. I finally got tired of being on the wrong side of the incident. You know what I mean? Or the losing side of the incident. I was like, you know what? A couple of years ago, I melted off and I was just standing there and somebody just walked up and punched me in the side of the head. And I didn't even see it coming, Tom, but it was one of those, I kind of deserved it. I thought about it after. I was like, I realized it was the same thing. I realized, dude, you can't just, run your mouth to everybody all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not going to end well. Eventually, and it'll never be the person you think. Like you said, it ain't going to be some big bald dude with tattoos or something that looks like Boz Rutan.
Yeah.
It's going to be some kid in an alley that just messes your ass up type thing. And be like, okay, I learned my lesson now. But that's funny when you said, you rolled in. That's why actually, too, I don't like the guy, but when they were talking about Zuckerberg and Musk, I was like, Zuckerberg would murder Musk. He would murder.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg's one of these dudes. He's rich. All he does is roll around with MMA fighters all day. It's a hobby.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He pays off. He gives you Adesanya. He goes, hey, Adesanya, I'll give you $250,000. Come up to my house for the weekend. Adesanya teaches him some stuff, and you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he trains. He trains pretty regularly, and he's actually a pretty big dude, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's 6'1" or 6'2". So, yeah, I don't think that would go too well for Elon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just like a class example. How many people would be like, I have that Zuckerberg dude. I'd beat the crap. You know what I mean? It's no, you wouldn't. He'd get you in an arm.
You really wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly, because he's training away. All right, so once again, we'll say what we will about the UFC, but another card just on a weekly basis. And we've got the Conor stuff around the corner. The Gary and Micaiah fight was announced. What's your what do you think of the week of announcements this week in the UFC?
Yeah, I think it's a big week. It's been a big month for the UFC. I mean, the White House card was absolutely incredible. Like I said, I thought that card was going to be crazy, and I thought it was going to be cool to watch. But that exceeded all my expectations. That card was amazing, especially with Gaethje at the end. Like, you can't ask for a better cap. And then you got, the Gary fight being announced for the title at welterweight. That's a big fight, man. That's one that, he's one of those guys. He came in, he was a Conor guy. Everybody's like, this is just another, Conor McGregor light, blah, blah, blah. He's just doing what Conor's doing. He's running his mouth, this, that, the other. But he's taking fights on short notice against really good guys like Rachmanov, Praches, and he's, he came in on like a week's notice against Praches and basically pieced him up for 4 rounds, had a really bad 5th round, almost got finished in that round. But, Ian Gary showed that he's a guy that his striking's really good. He's developed his ground game. His grappling's not too bad. And he's a guy that's willing to get in there and trade with anybody. And the Islam fight, man, that's going to be a great fight. I'm pumped for that one. And then obviously the Conor fight. Anytime Conor fights, doesn't matter who he's fighting. But the fact that he's coming back against Max Holloway is, to me, that's insane. Like, he could have came back against Chandler. Chandler was the guy that the best matchup for him.
He should
but
have.
He's coming against Max.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, though, because you remember even, like, he wanted to fight Diego Sanchez, if you remember. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, he basically was like, or Nate Diaz, you know what I mean? I just want to sort of get into a brawl, or like, give him a little bit of a layup back. You're giving him a fight that he can win. But, yeah, you're right. And I'll give credit to Conor for that. Like, honestly, for doing it. Because it's not a good situation for him. Let's call it out for what it is.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it is.
No, and on, and he beat Max earlier. It's bothering Max. And the thing with me is, with Conor, Tom, he said, I feel great, but, we have a lot of plans in place for the fight. And he goes, you have to think about contingency plans. He would never say that before. He said, what if my knee gives out, or what if this happens, or what if, like, they were all negative, Tom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, they were all sort of negative scenarios. He said, if my body breaks down, what do I have to do, like, to survive this or that? But without being stated, like I said, I thought the number was a little bit high, right? I mean, he is Conor McGregor still. And his fight IQ that's to me what's always made him so good, Tom, is he even said that. I remember years ago, and like when he was really like on a tear in his prime, somebody asked him, why are you so successful? And he basically said, because most MMA trainers suck. He goes, they have terrible game plans. They take terrible angles. He goes, if they were any smarter, they would be better. And I think he was kind of on to something, actually. Like Conor, him and Kavanaugh, like who's it, John Kavanaugh. Like Kavanaugh really is a smart guy, Tom. I'm going to give him credit for that.
Yeah, he is. And, Kavanaugh, he's had a good amount of fighters that had some success, in the UFC and Bellator all over the world. Kavanaugh is a really smart guy. And Conor is actually a really smart guy, too. Like, Conor, before the big money, when you listen to him talk, very, very smart guy, always had a game plan. He got into the drugs, he got into all the crazy drinking and all that and the lifestyle. But deep down, Conor is actually a smart fighter, and he is very skilled. He's got great technique on the feet. His wrestling's underrated because against guys like Khabib, he can't really grapple, but his grappling game is underrated. So he is a well-rounded mixed martial artist at heart. He really is.
And you know what? He seems like, and once again, like we talked about getting smarter with age, he's still going to do something crazy before his life is over. But, like, he seems to got out of his system a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? He's not in the bar every night punching old men in the face. Like, he's chilled out.
Right.
Like, you can tell he's matured. All right, we'll get into some picks on the other side with Tom. Let's roll.
Are you ready for el verano más futbolero de tu vida? Latin Nation Football Club turns into Copa Nation, our live stream experience every day, de lunes a viernes, 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Pacific as well. Checking in after the games. In that slot between games, we got you, my friend. We're going to have celebrities, legends of the game, content creators, and a bunch of our friends that are going to keep you entertained and informed, letting you know what's happening all across the 3 countries that are going to be experiencing this crazy, crazy football tournament. Don't miss it. Copa Nation right here on Latin Nation every day. Check it out.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Their pitching has been really good in their bullpen, too. So Chris Getz, their general manager, credit to him. This guy was getting pounded a couple of years ago for decisions and everything like that. But, man, it is seemingly working out. The fans, by the way, all of a sudden are pouring in there. Their attendance is on the rise, too. So a great sign that the White Sox are in this thing. Now, long-term, I don't know. Like, is this a postseason team? Is it a deep postseason team?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Combat Sports Report continues. I'm Morency. We're breaking it down with Tom Zaffino right now. King Kai Stewart joined us earlier in the program. BKFC at Fenway Park. How cool is that? But speaking of cool, betonline.ag does a great job with BKFC lines. They're the official partner of BKFC when it comes to betting, the sportsbook partner, as you see in the ring. And they do a great job with the future, just sort of the future fights as well. I just want to throw a couple of them at you, Tom. Cyril Gahn and Tom Aspinall. Stone Cold Pick'em, minus 110, both sides. Stone Cold Pick'em. Man. Cyril Gahn, Tom Aspinall. And it should be in Paris, right? I mean, that's and Tom, for the record, so Cyril Gahn won the interim fight, whatever, against Pereira, and then said after, let's do it again, Tom. We got to fight. But he said in Paris. That's fair. You're the champ now. Go to Paris, Tom. Now, imagine England versus France, Tom. Heavyweight in Paris. That's just so sick. Mm-hmm. But the fight's a Stone Cold Pick'em. And I got to tell you, man, Cyril Gahn was looking pretty good in that first round, wasn't he, against Tom Aspinall?
He did. He looked good. It was a close first round. I was on Aspinall in that fight. And
me too.
I thought over the course of, 5 rounds, I thought, the one question mark was Aspinall's cardio going long because, obviously he's had a lot of fights that ended early. I don't necessarily worry too much about Tom's cardio. I do think he's probably in good shape and he would be able to go, 5 rounds if he had to. And I thought he had a bit of a grappling edge. On the feet, obviously anybody on the feet with Gahn, it's going to be close. Gahn's a really good striker. You can't take that away from him. I mean, I feel like I would still lean with Aspinall, despite the fact that the first round was close. And I would say Gahn probably won that first round. But I don't know. I still feel like over the course of, 2 to 3 rounds, Aspinall maybe mixes in some takedowns. Gahn still has that hole in his game where he can lose to grapplers. To me, Aspinall was the best heavyweight in the world at the time when he had the belt. And I think he still is. The time off kind of worries me, though. He's been through a lot. He's had a lot of time off. Gahn, here he is. He's winning fights. He's knocking dudes out. Knocking out Pereira, which is a huge, huge win. Very impressive there. So I feel like I don't know if it's my heart or if it's my head, but I still feel like Aspinall wins that fight one way or another. But yeah, man, that's going to be a really intriguing one. And the fact that it's more than likely going to be in Paris, man, it makes it a little bit more tough. But I think if I'm saying it right now, I'm still going to roll with Aspinall.
A couple of other advanced numbers that they have up right now. Manel Cape Cop coming off the big win over the weekend. Minus 190 against Joshua Van. Van plus 165. Josh Hokett obviously has made a splash, and he's dialing it up as far as the obnoxious tour is continued. He's calling out Pereira and stuff. Pereira's not even sure he says he wants to fight anymore. But I was surprised to see Hokett minus 160 against Alex Pereira at Bet Online right now. And they've got a Cyril Gahn number up against Josh Hokett right now as well. Cyril Gahn minus 250, Josh Hokett plus 210. And another news this week, guys, Topuria was talking about the rematch, and Gaethje doesn't want to do it. Gaethje said this week that, you know what, I rewatched the fight, and he said this guy quit twice, and he did, actually. He said he couldn't see after the third. He goes, he quit on the stool twice. He doesn't deserve a rematch. He also don't want to fight him again. Right?
Yeah, not the easiest matchup.
But for the record, so he's saying no. But if it's not him, then is it going to be Sarkisian coming in here? Sarkanian coming in here. If he has time to leave Nina Drama and the internet for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But Armin's a minus 500 favorite against Gaethje. Like, if I'm Gaethje, I'd almost rather just fight Topuria again, to be honest. But I'm just throwing a number out there. So Armin, minus 500 against Gaethje. And a number, if they did rematch, they have it up right now. Ilia Topuria, minus 250. Gaethje plus 210.
Yeah, I mean, I would be on Gaethje in that Sarukian fight if he's that big of a dog. Sarukian's really
it's all over again. You're right. It's all over again. The same price, even plus 385 and 500.
Yeah, like I like Sarukian. I think he's a good fighter, but I think Justin Gaethje he's a real problem for him because
can Sarukian strike? Can he? He's a great wrestler, but how good is his stand-up?
He is a good striker. He is a good striker. He's got good striking. He's very well-rounded. I mean, obviously, he's known more as a grappler, but he is a really well-rounded striker. He's got very good striking. Like, he could win most of the fights he wins in the UFC with his striking. But he's fought really close fights with guys that, like the Oliveira fight. I thought Oliveira won that fight. I know he hurt Oliveira a couple times, but Oliveira was doing a lot of good work in that fight. It was more control time, and I'm not a fan of winning fights based control time. Oliveira had him in some deep chokes. Honestly, if Sarukian's shorts don't slide off in the first round, Oliveira probably chokes him out. So he survived there. So to me, it's a really, Sarukian's a great fighter, and it's a really tough fight for either guy. But with a number like that, I think Gaethje, you have to bet Gaethje in that spot.
And it sounds like, listen, we all know the UFC, they're not big fans of Armin, but they're not really going to have a choice here, and especially if Gaethje's calling the shot in the sense of he doesn't want to give Topuria a rematch. And not to mention, Topuria's face isn't like, he's not ready to fight anytime soon. I mean, it's going to be a long comeback for Topuria. Like, if Gaethje, not years, but you know what I'm saying. He needs some healing time before he can even get back in the gym. And if I'm Gaethje, listen, George St. Pierre, knows a thing or two about this stuff. He said if he was Gaethje, he'd just step aside now and retire. But whatever. Yeah, but if you're Gaethje, I understand you want to make more money on the way out here. You never made real money, right? So now you can sort of squeeze some money out of this. And Armin is so unlikable that it is a sellable fight, right? It is the, Captain America type thing. Gaethje, that just sort of hit me. He's like the new Dan Henderson. He is. He's the new Dan. He's Dan Henderson. I was thinking about, like, the American badass. And, I think of Hendo when I think of that. You're Dan Hendo. You're the new Hendo.
He gives them a chance, but they've got to keep putting people around him. I think he's a very good quarterback. I don't know that he's the one that elevates you all by himself. I think he still needs the help. excellent player, perfect guy to lead your organization, perfect place for it. And by the way, I'd start him from day one. I wouldn't waste any time on it. But got to put pieces around him, and John Spytek has already started doing that.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
This is the third time he's been medically checked. Even the refs coming over. He's like, dude, like come on. Like after every sort of play in front of the net, the kind of goal he's done.
Yeah.
He's
stop jumping.
He's on the turf, like you said, like he's like driving off the top rope. Look at him here again. I give him credit. He's freaking fearless.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Are you ready for el verano más futbolero de tu vida? Latination Football Club turns into Copa Nation, our live stream experience every day, de lunes a viernes, 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Pacific as well. Checking in after the games. In that slot between games, we got you, my friend. We're going to have celebrities, legends of the game, content creators, and a bunch of our friends that are going to keep you entertained and informed, letting you know what's happening all across the 3 countries that are going to be experiencing this crazy football tournament. Don't miss it. Copa Nation right here on Latin Nation every day. Check it out.
All right, time has just flown by on this program, so I'll shut up and throw it to Tom here and see what he thinks about UFC Baku. UFC Baku. We're going to Azerbaijan, guys, this weekend, so it's a Saturday afternoon / early morning card, depending on where you are. But with the World Cup and all the sports that are going on, boom, we got some fighting, Tom, Saturday morning / afternoon. Man, this Torres guy's been on a freaking tear. we were just talking about Justin Gaethje before. Listen, man, Rafael lost twice to Gaethje. I mean, you look at his record, 4 losses in the last 5 fights, but look who he fought, Gamrot. He hurt his knee in one of the fights. He got injured. This is going to be a violent card in Azerbaijan. What are you looking at? What do you think? I'll ask you about the main event. The total's 1.5. Are we going to get out of the first round of this fight even?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because if Torres wins this fight, I think he probably wins it early. You know, he hasn't gotten out of the first round in his UFC career. I mean, he either finishes somebody in the first round. 20
fights, only once he's gotten in the third round. First round, 19 to 20 fights. He either wins or loses.
Yeah. So to me, I mean, it's going to be tough to get Fiziev out of there in the first round. And I don't really know what Torres looks like later in fights. It's been a long time. I mean, his whole career in the UFC, like I said, 7 or 8 fights, all finished in the first round. Either he's getting knocked out or he's finishing, which, you know, he's been knocked out once in the UFC. He's only got 1 loss. But it was against a guy, Bahamondes, who, you know, Fiziev just beat 2 fights ago. So another tall, lanky striker. So to me, Fiziev, I think he's taken a little bit of money. He's a little bit of a favorite now. It's basically a pick'em line. It's still around a pick'em line. But I like Fiziev, man. I think he survives, gets through that first round. And to be honest with you, like, I don't even know if he has to survive because he's a really good striker himself. So I think he gets through that first round. I think over the course of 3 rounds, I can't really say it definitively, but I would think that Fiziev is the better fighter long-term. We've seen him fight 3 rounds. We know what he can do. We've seen him fight 5 rounds, finish fights in the 5th round. So I have to edge Fiziev. I think his cardio is going to be better. And I think he's a really good technical striker. And you go back to those fights with Gaethje, those were razor close fights for the most part. You know, Gaethje edged him out kind of later in both of those fights. And Fiziev to me is on another level. And Torres is really good. And if he wins, like I said, it's probably going to be in the first round. I could see him landing something big. He's got big power. But in this matchup here, I just have to look at it from a 3-round perspective, and the line's close. I got to go with Fiziev here.
And Fiziev's, not that his career's on the line. It's not like that 3 strikes and you're out like it used to be in the old days, but this is a big fight for him. Big fight for him.
Yeah.
And you're fighting, in, your part of the world as well. Right? So this is a fight that you need to win. One of the prelim fights I got my eye on from a betting perspective is Javier Reyes at -163. That probably goes up by fight night, but what are you taking on this card? What catches your eye?
I kind of like Javier in that spot. That's the fight that I'm not excited about betting. I just feel like there's just a little bit too much unknown there. But I do like him in that spot. I like Oleksiejczuk as a dog here. He's a really good striker. He's with the Fighting Nerds now. He's fighting Abus Magomedov, who Abus is a kind of a weird character. He's very good. He's a good striker. He's got good grappling, which he could use in this fight, but I don't think his cardio is very good. So I think if he does grapple, I think Oleksiejczuk probably has the cardio edge, although Oleksiejczuk's cardio is not the best either. I don't think either guy has great cardio, but I just think Oleksiejczuk is more active, and if this fight goes long, I think he wins. So I'm willing to take the dog shot there. I like Shara Magomedov too against Michel Pereira. I think Pereira is just cooked. He got a win in his last fight against Zach Reese, who's not the highest level UFC type guy. Shara basically only fights overseas. He can't get cleared because he's got the one blind eye, but he's got better striking. He's got better volume, and like I said, I just think Pereira's done. So I want to bet Shara by finish, but he's gone 3 rounds a lot in his career. Overall, though, I do think he wins that fight pretty clearly, so I don't mind him as a parlay piece.
Tom Zaffino. Awesome stuff, Tom. Great stuff as always. We'll catch up with you next week. Countdown. We have some big fights coming up, and a big summer of sports action, man. And next thing you know, football season is going to be back. Tom Zaffino with us on the Combat Sports Report. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.
Are you ready for el verano más futbolero de tu vida? Latination Football Club turns into Copa Nation, our live stream experience every day de lunes a viernes, 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Pacific as well. Checking in after the games. In that slot between games, we got you, my friend. We're going to have celebrities, legends of the game, content creators, and a bunch of our friends that are going to keep you entertained and informed, letting you know what's happening all across the 3 countries that are going to be experiencing this crazy football tournament. Don't miss it. Copa Nation right here on Latin Nation every day. Check it out.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Their pitching has been really good in their bullpen too. So Chris Getz, their general manager, credit to him. This guy was getting pounded a couple of years ago for decisions and everything like that, but man, it is seemingly working out. The fans, by the way, all of a sudden are pouring in there. Their attendance is on the rise too. So a great sign that the White Sox are in this thing. Now, long term, I don't know. Like, is this a postseason team? Is it a deep postseason team?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.